How to cool a cake overnight. For starters, cooling a cake overnight is very beneficial to do. Make sure to wrap the warm cake tight. Besides, it is indeed necessary. The main reason is that wrapping it tight can save plenty of moisture. In this regard, it does so without enabling it to condense on the wrap. If you find yourself with extra moisture on top of the cake, ensure to utilize powdered sugar. For that reason, you may add a bit of water or not. Doing this soaks up a few of the condensations. How to cool a cake overnight. Before anything else, is cooling a cake overnight fine? Yes, it is indeed okay to do so. Keep in mind that it is necessary to cool cakes entirely before you add or frost other decorations. In addition to that, it is possible to let non-perishable cakes sit in the cake pan overnight. Moreover, if you worry about the cake sticking, you do not have to worry too much. The main reason is that several approaches exist to help you. With that, ensure to utilize a piece of parchment paper quite larger than the cake pan. After that, please put it in the cake pan's bottom. Then, ensure to spray with cooking spray. Likewise, you can put a light dusting of flour. Next, allow the cake to cool for about 10 to 15 minutes. Afterward, ensure to run a knife along the cake's edges. Note that when the cake has sat overnight. In this regard, may it be in a cool oven or on your countertop, it will easily slide out of the cake pan. Bear in mind that it will do so when you turn it upside down. Finally, make sure to peel the parchment paper carefully. After doing so, you are ready to decorate the cake. How to store warm cake overnight. First off, wrap the unfrosted cake layers in plastic wrap. Make sure to do this once the cake cools for approximately 30 minutes. But if you intend to leave the cake in the pan overnight, make sure to stretch the wrap over the pan's top. In addition to that, you can add aluminum foil on top of plastic wrap. Doing this provides extra protection if wanted. Step-by-step instructions in storing a cake overnight. Step 1. First and foremost, bake the cake you usually would. Step 2. Then, allow your cake to cool for about 10 to 15 minutes in the cake pan. In addition to that, be sure to leave the cake in the cake pan. Do this when you initially remove it out of the oven. Step 3. Afterward, utilize a knife to loosen the cake's sides from the pan. Because of this, you can successfully flip the pan over, considering you do it either on a baking rack or on your hand. As a result, the cake will fall loose. Step 4. You must wrap the cake in a single layer of plastic wrap. In that regard, you must wrap it as tightly as you can. Considering that you aim to maintain all the moisture in the cake, you do not want it to escape. As a consequence of not doing so, you will have a dry and stale cake. Step 5. Next, leave the cake on the counter or in the fridge overnight. Bear in mind that you should not leave out cakes that have fillings with perishables. These include eggs, fruits, or dairy. So with this, make sure to store them in the fridge. Can I store the cake longer? The answer is yes. But before you freeze the cake, it would be best to put a layer of aluminum foil over the cake. Likewise, it would help to store the cake in an airtight plastic container or zip-top bag. Doing this protects it from freezer burn. Besides that, it helps to soak up smells from the freezer and food in it. Always remember that the cake can remain in good condition in the freezer for several months. Just make sure to wrap it properly. Because of that, you are free to choose when you want to utilize the cake. Also, make sure to remove it from the freezer. In addition to that, do not forget to thaw the cake entirely before you frost it. Always remember that frosting a cake when frozen can result in the frosting hardening up. As a result, it will be hard to spread. Reasons on why you need to know how to cool a cake overnight. First off, it saves you plenty of time. The ideal scenario for anyone inviting family members and friends to a special event is serving desserts. Talk about a gorgeous and delectable cake after a meal. Baking and cooling the cake in advance, you will indeed save yourself the stress on the day. Remember, you will be very busy cooking and entertaining guests. Second, it makes the icing process easy to do. Always remember that icing a cake is indeed hard, especially if it does not cool down sufficiently. Moreover, it will indeed melt and run down the sides due to heat. For this reason, it would help to cool the cake overnight. Doing this ensures that the cake will hold onto the icing, including other decorations. Third, it helps the cake to set for cutting and slicing. Please take note that cooling it overnight will set it properly. Hence, it will enable you to cut it neatly. On the contrary, you will risk damaging the cake. It only happens if you try to cut it, and it has not set well. Lastly, cooling the cakes after you have baked them enables you to have everything ready. Likewise, it eases the work. In addition to that, it will enable you to plan effectively. Always remember that there are various cakes that you can try. Because of this, it is unavoidable to encounter cakes that are indeed difficult to make. That is why cooling the cake overnight is exceedingly important. If you liked this video, don't forget to like and subscribe.